Welcome, children of the night, to day 2 of Stupidween, where we're counting down to Halloween with the most terrifyingly stupid things that we can find. Today's tale of spine-tingling horror comes from the bastion of torments, known to mortal men only as BuzzFeed. Welcome, boys and ghouls, to a nightmarish tale I like to call 35 Questions Black People Have for White People.
Today we're going to answer the first 17. Tomorrow we'll answer the remaining 18. So are you motherfuckers ready for this? Number 1. Is clapping on beat really that hard? I was honestly not aware that we were supposed to be clapping on a beat during an applause. I've never heard a crowd of people, black or white, doing so. I mean, sometimes certain sports cheers or clapping to music can require clapping in unison to a beat, you know, like boom, boom, tsh, boom, boom, tsh. But white people can do that shit just fine. So what the hell are you talking about, BuzzFeed? Number 2, why do y'all dance like that? Plenty of white people can dance. Plenty of black people can't dance. But if there still remains a kernel of truth in the idea that black people are generally better dancers, that raises a bigger question. So fucking what? Isn't dancing supposed to be fun? If people are having fun dancing, what do you give a shit about their skill level? Unless they're actively performing for you, it's really none of your business. Number 3, will you please stop trying to touch our hair without asking? Well, seeing as how I've never done that, sure, I'll happily continue to never do that. Number 4, why do you freak out when people of color are cast to play white fictional characters? Now, to exemplify this behavior, we're shown a tweet that reads, "If it's okay for a black guy to play Human Torch in the F4 reboot, then I guess it's okay for a white guy to play Black Panther, right? Livia T." To me, this tweet doesn't seem to be freaking out that a black dude is playing a traditionally white character. To me, this tweet seems to be pointing out the hypocrisy that these sorts of race changes are always a one-way street. More and more traditionally white characters are being played by non-whites, or people of color if you idiotically prefer that moronic descriptor. But how many times have you seen a black character played by a white guy? In other words, if they made a new Blade movie and Blade was suddenly played by like Simon Pegg or some shit like that, black people would probably be upset. Yet when white people get upset about the same sort of thing, it's considered racist. My personal perspective is that I don't care what race an actor is, as long as they can effectively portray their character. Number 5, and why do you freak out when people of color are cast to play any fictional characters that are actually of color? And beneath this question is a collection of Hunger Games fangirls complaining that the character of Rue is portrayed as black. The movie made $755 million in the US alone, and has not great, but good reviews on every aggregator I could find, so it's not like America rejected this movie. There's a few whiners on Twitter. It's not a major fucking issue. Number 6, why do you riot when your sports team loses? I don't, but the folks who do probably just take sports way too seriously. Number 7, why do you riot when your sports team wins? Same answer as the last one. Number 8, are y'all ever gonna stop wearing Jesus sandals? I don't know, are black people ever gonna stop rubbing ice cream on their nipples? Are black people ever gonna stop singing Cotton Eye Joe while they shave off their back hair? Are black people ever gonna stop drinking rat urine out of crystal goblets every May 27th? Equally fair and valid questions. 9, and speaking of Jesus, you know he wasn't white, right? You know he wasn't black either, right? If Jesus existed, forensic anthropologists think he looked something like this. More like a Geico caveman than the savior of humanity. But if there was a Jesus and he was the son of God, do you really think his race would matter? His race is God. Personally, I think it may not even have been a historical Jesus, and the Jesus of the Bible is purely a myth anyway. So what do I care what color he fucking is? White people tell it like he's a white guy. Black people can tell it like he was a black guy. Does it really fucking matter? It's a fictional character at this point. Number 10, Southerners. Do you really not get why the Confederate flag is offensive to us? I was raised largely in the South, as you can tell from my thick Southern accent, and I saw plenty of black folks flying the Confederate flag proudly. I personally think they're a bunch of dumbasses, but it's not just white people doing this shit. I think if you talk to a lot of Southerners, they'll tell you that they fly the flag to honor their ancestors who fought and died in the bloodiest and most divided time in American history. The mantra you'll hear from a lot of these folks is heritage, not hate. Personally, I think they're scumbags. It would be like a German flying a Nazi flag and saying, well, I don't agree with them killing all those people in the Holocaust or the imperialism, but, it's my ancestry, so, whatever. So I kind of agree with you guys on something. I guess it was bound to happen sooner or later. Number 11, are you all really into pumpkin spice like that? I don't give a fuck about pumpkin spice. I like pumpkin pie and that's about it. Number 12, are you worried that reality shows like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Mob Wives cast white people in a stereotypical light? No. What kind of question even is that? Why in the fuck would I care about what some morons on a shitty reality show are doing? It has literally nothing to do with me. 13, why are y'all so obsessed with gluten? So some people have something called celiac disease and they can't eat gluten because it'll make them sick. So some companies started offering gluten-free stuff to appeal to those people, but when the Whole Foods crowd saw the gluten-free stuff, they decided to make gluten-free their next obnoxious bandwagon to jump on so they can revel in how much healthier they are than the rest of us. Number 14, do you have family reunions? Well, not if we can help it. Number 15, why don't you use washcloths? Because we can afford loofah sponges. We don't have to clean ourselves off with rags. Number 16, why do you want to say the N-word so badly? If I wanted to say it, I could simply say it. The real question is, why are you so desperate to make sure no white person ever says it, even in a non-offensive context? There's nothing wrong with me saying the word nigger in many contexts. The only context it's wrong in is if I'm using it in a genuinely racist way. But even then, it's not the word that's bad, it's racism that's bad. Let me ask you this, which of the following statements is racist? One of my favorite characters in all of literature is Nigger Jim. Or, alternatively, in my humble opinion, African Americans should be denied the right to vote. You know the answer. You know the answer to that. You know which one's more offensive. Number 17. Why do you always make such awful decisions in horror movies? Well, I already answered this in a previous video, but I'll go ahead and answer it again here. Black people always die in horror movies. That's a total cliche. So the black characters are no better at survival than the white ones. In fact, they tend to be worse. Not that any of this matters, since it's fucking fiction. And well, that concludes day 2 of Stupidween. Join me tomorrow for part 3, where I will continue to answer this insipid fucking bullshit. Good night and good fright.